There is a moment when the body stops being a body, in the way we understand it. The heart no longer pushes blood. The lungs no longer trade oxygen for carbon dioxide. The brain stops receiving the one thing it has demanded every second of your life. And yet, not everything dies at once. At second zero, death is not simply an ending. It is the beginning of a countdown, a cellular blackout, a chemical collapse. Because the moment you die, your body does not simply disappear. It begins to transform. Welcome to our channel, where we explain complicated things in simple words. From the human body to the universe. From invisible cells to the biggest questions in science. We break it down so anyone can understand it. Subscribe so you don't miss what comes next. And now, let's begin. We usually imagine death as a line. Before it, life. After it, silence. But biologically, death is not a single switch. It is more like a city losing power, district by district. Some systems shut down almost immediately. Others flicker for minutes. Some cells continue fighting for hours. The body does not die all at once. It collapses in layers. First, the heart stops moving blood. Then oxygen stops arriving. Then the brain begins to go dark. Then the cells lose their energy. And after that, the body enters a new phase. Not life, not consciousness, but transformation. The first domino is oxygen. At the moment circulation stops, oxygen delivery stops with it. Every cell in your body is a tiny machine, and oxygen is part of the fuel system that keeps those machines running. With oxygen, your cells produce energy efficiently. Without oxygen, they are forced into emergency mode. The brain feels this first. It is only a small part of body weight, but it consumes a huge amount of energy. It is an expensive organ to keep alive. So when blood flow stops, the brain is one of the first places where the lights begin to go out. Neurons lose the energy they need to maintain electrical balance. Signals become chaotic, then weaker, then silent. But deep inside the body, millions of cells are still trying to survive. They do not know the person is dead. They only know this. The supply trucks have stopped coming. And this is where death becomes microscopic. Not dramatic, not visible, but incredibly powerful. Inside each cell, a crisis begins. The cell depends on ATP, the body's tiny energy currency. ATP powers microscopic pumps that keep sodium, potassium, and calcium in the right places. These pumps are not famous. They are not dramatic. But they are the reason cells stay organized. Once oxygen disappears, ATP production falls. The pumps slow down. Then they fail. The cell membrane, once a guarded border, begins to lose control. Ions move where they should not. Water follows. The cell swells. Calcium floods into places where calcium should never be. And inside a dying cell, calcium becomes like an alarm system that accidentally opens every emergency door at once. Enzymes activate. Structures begin to break down. The cell starts digesting itself from the inside. This process is called autolysis, self-digestion. And it begins quietly, long before anything dramatic can be seen from the outside. From the outside, the first change is stillness. Muscles relax. The jaw may loosen. The face may change slightly. Not because of anything supernatural, but because tension is gone. Then gravity takes over. During life, blood is constantly moving. But when the pump stops, blood begins to settle. It pools in the lowest parts of the body. This creates a dark red or purple discoloration known as livor mortis. In life, the body resists gravity. In death, Gravity becomes one of the first forces writing the story. The body cools. The skin loses warmth. The chemistry changes. And the system that spent a lifetime maintaining balance can no longer defend itself from the simplest laws of physics. Then comes one of the most famous signs of death, rigor mortis, the stiffening of the muscles. But rigor mortis is not the body freezing. It is chemistry. When you are alive, your muscles contract and relax because microscopic fibers lock and unlock. That unlocking requires ATP. After death, ATP disappears. Calcium leaks into muscle cells. The muscle fibers bind together. But without energy, they cannot release. The system gets stuck. The body stiffens not because it is holding on to life, but because the machinery that allowed movement has lost the power to reset. It is like a door lock with no electricity. Closed, frozen, silent. But even this does not last forever. As decomposition continues, the proteins inside the muscles begin to break down, and the stiffness fades. At this stage, the body is no longer controlled by the systems that kept it alive. Now, chemistry takes over. Carbon dioxide builds. The environment becomes more acidic. Cell membranes rupture. Enzymes leak out. The body, which once fought every second to maintain order, can no longer protect its borders. And then another world begins to rise. The microbiome. During life, your body is home to trillions of bacteria, especially in the gut. They live in balance with you. But after death, that balance changes. The immune system no longer patrols. Barriers weaken. Microbes begin moving into tissues they could not freely enter before. This is not an invasion from outside. It is an internal ecosystem changing roles. The same biological world that helped you live now begins helping recycle you. This is the part we rarely talk about. Death is not only biological failure, it is ecological transfer. The body contains energy, water, carbon, nitrogen, phosphorus, minerals, the ingredients of life. And nature wastes almost nothing. In the right environment, insects may arrive. Bacteria multiply. Fungi participate. Chemical compounds move into the surrounding world. A body becomes a temporary ecosystem. To us, this can feel disturbing because we think of the body as identity. But to nature, the body is also matter, and matter keeps moving. The atoms that once formed a heartbeat do not vanish. They are rearranged into soil, into microbes, into plants, into air, into other living systems. Death is the end of the individual organism, but biologically, it is not the end of participation. And here is the strangest part. The body does not die all at once. Death moves through it like darkness moving through a city. First the breath, then the circulation, then the brain, then the cellular energy systems, then the membranes, then the tissues, then the ecosystem takes over. What we call death is not a switch. It is a sequence, a cascade, a transfer of control from consciousness to chemistry to ecology. For a lifetime, the body fights entropy. It repairs, regulates, defends, rebuilds. But when that fight ends, the universe does what it has always done. It changes one form into another. So what happens to your body the moment you die? It begins its final transformation. The brain loses signal. The cells lose power. The chemistry loses order. The microbes gain territory. And the body slowly returns to the world that built it. Not instantly, not magically, but step by step, second by second, cell by cell. If you want more videos where we explain the hidden systems behind life, science, the body, the universe, and everything in between, subscribe to the channel, because the next story will be even more interesting. And remember, the most complicated things become clear when you look closely. See you in the next one.